on this episode?
I think the parents that are watching need to let their kids fail. When you allow someone to naturally fail, don't interrupt the process. Because like if you interrupt the process, what you do is you don't let them build a natural ability to tap into who they are, what they do, like what's their real strength. Like no matter, as parents, we can't like protect them. You can keep them from like going too far, but you have to let, at some point, I bet you in each one of those guys' life, they failed and they had to face it.
Welcome back to another episode of This Is My Why. I am so excited to have Chris Johnson with me today as my guest. We're going to dive into your story, hear all about it, and talk to you more about, how you got here and what your why is. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So talk to us a little bit. You're a familiar face in the NBA world. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start with, taking you back a bit and just kind of, what drew you to basketball? What was the love? Like, where did it come from? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, basketball is like, it's a family thing. My dad played, most all my uncles played. And I've been playing basketball since I was like 5, I think. And basketball for me at an early age was always going to be like a vehicle, just to get you to different places, meet different people. Mm-hmm. Basketball's brought me here. And so basketball is like a vehicle. And as you grow, you understand the vehicle. And so basketball was just, it's a sport. It's a connector. It's a vehicle, and it's been really good to me in my life and my family's life in different parts.
Nice. So you said your dad played, your uncles played, and you played, right? Yeah. So were you like, is it like one of those where they would go to like play on the courts, they would take you with them and you were just exposed to them?
My dad played college basketball.
Nice.
My uncles played college basketball. I played college basketball, professional basketball. And, like, as you dream, you always dream of like the highest level of something, right? Mm-hmm. And so basketball just was like a really popular sport in my neighborhood. It's very easy to do. You only need one ball. You can have 10 guys and you can play. And being an athlete growing up, I played football, I played baseball, I ran track.
All around.
And I was involved in every sport. And then when I got to about the 9th grade is when I kind of really was like, let me lock in and, take this to the next level. And, that's being a college basketball player. And that's where like I really just started really focusing and like, what can I get out of basketball?
Got you.
Yeah.
So was there anything in particular that drew you to basketball, or was it just that's what you felt like that was the passion, that was the drive?
I think I ran into really good people. Like, one of my high school coaches he was a good mentor. He was like my history teacher. And so he used to pass me like a lot of basketball notes and a lot of quotes. And he really, really intrigued my brain about how far basketball could go. And when like I was 13, I realized that whether I was playing basketball, I would be in some form of fashion, I would spend like in my entire life in basketball. So it wasn't like being a professional athlete was like my only goal. I knew I would be in some aspect of basketball.
Right.
And so I knew that at 13. And so, I always felt comfortable to just like give my all. Most people say, hey, don't put everything into one basket. But, I found out that you could put everything into one basket and you become a master of it. And then once you complete that mission, you've now learned how to master. So then you can move on to something else and take the same work ethic, the same drive, the same commitment, and put it into another basket. And then you can go from there. So I believe put everything into one basket, especially like when you're going into something. And whether it fail or not fail, that's not even the most important part.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's the process. It's the everyday grind of it.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
So you say college basketball. So you're from Texas. We were just
I'm
talking.
from Texas. Yeah.
So did you play college basketball in Texas?
Yes, I played at A&M.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you were there, was this like a gradual path or you kind of took it intentionally?
No, everything was intentional. Like I said, from when I was 13, I was like, hey, like, let me really focus. And I wasn't one of those individuals that wasn't focused. So the majority of my life, I've always been very conscious of being focused and giving my best effort.
That's
right.
amazing.
And so basketball was just one thing that helped me be a better student. It helped me, deal with friends, and it was just a vehicle, like I said. And even like once I was finished playing basketball, when you kind of evaluate like where you are, what you're gonna do. Like I had tore my Achilles, and so when I tore my Achilles, I was thinking like, dang, like, okay, I have a college degree, like I gotta be out of basketball. I think they said at that time it was like 18 months.
Wow.
So I reached out to my college coach and I was like, hey, like I'm gonna be out 18 months. And he was like, look, you're one of the best coaches, because I was a point guard. So being a point guard is like the quarterback, it's like the leader of the team.
Gotcha.
And he was like, yo, like you led our team, like you were everything that we needed. He made it easy for me. So you should come back and you should coach and get your master's degree. And so a lot of people don't know I have a master's degree.
Amazing.
Right. And it took me 1 year. I graduated magna cum laude in counseling. So
Okay.
I chose counseling because I wanted to learn more about how to deal with people.
Amazing.
And so, just tapping into what I do natural.
Wow.
Natural is dealing with people and taking people to places that they want to go. And so basketball taught me a lot of that, but just, once I became a graduate assistant and I started to pursue the master's degree, I got the master's degree and I was coaching in college.
Okay.
And so, but I got my master's degree, and this is funny, it could be 20 years now, I think, but with the idea of one day opening the #1 like mental wellness center for athletes. Like that was something I was like, when I step away from basketball, this is what I'm going to do. And I knew that 20 something years ago, and now I have a company called Just Win.
Amazing.
And Just Win to me is what is important now, and is win the mindset, is just win the mental power every day. And so that's something that I thought about, and I did it, and I was like, later on when I'm done with basketball, that's what I'm going to do.
That's amazing. And what a time. Like we really need that right now.
For sure. But I've been practicing. So I've been practicing the whole time that I switched from being a player into what I would call the coaches, the teacher's box, a rabbi, somebody that is a master element. And so for me, developing people is more important than developing basketball players, right? So I really focus in on different tactics of learning and like studying people, the way they walk, the body movement, their emotional intelligence, the way they respond to something. So like in a training session with me, I could put you in situations just to see how you respond.
Right.
Because then it teaches me how to better build you. And when you understand a person and you connect with them, you really can build them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I'm curious. So when you went into coaching during that hiatus, right? And then you realized this is what your calling is. Can you say like you identified this was my calling?
At 13, I knew I will be inspiring. I would be developing people. I didn't know, like people say, how do you have the #1 development company? Where I was like, I don't know exactly how I got here, but I always knew. And so from 13 to when I got my master's at like 22, getting my master's in like counseling is still like counseling, developing people,
right.
Studying people. And just so happened I was studying athletes and, women, and started studying people. And then I was able to coach. And so I coached at like college, high school, G League, NBA.
Wow. And
then I own one of the top development companies. So I have a coach's mind. So I look at like coaching to me is teaching. But more important than anything in the world is taking care of people. So the sport is common ground. It's something that you can like bridge together. And I say, okay, we have common ground. And then from there is what my gift is like studying you. So from the time I shook your hand, I've already been.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, oh.
How you move, how you talk, how you deal with them.
Gotcha.
It becomes important because then, I have a level of trust.
Yeah.
And then, like, for me, I'm not afraid to trust. So a lot of people have trust issues, but I'm not worried about if I can trust you or not.
Yeah.
You just watch how people move. And so my impact, and for the guys that are even watching this, they'll know my impact and the brotherhood that we have away from the court is more important than what we do on the court.
You were saying, actually, right?
It's a brotherhood.
I respect that, because even when the cameras weren't rolling, you mentioned that, and that caught my attention, because a lot of times people don't give importance to those things. And I thought, wow, like the fact that you said there's certain things that just, stay off and stay between you and the people that you train,
right?
Or the people that you have a relationship.
Right.
It really goes to show how much you really, respect those relationships.
Yeah. Oh, the respect of relationship is one thing, but then having an impact, right? So like the older I get, the more impact I have.
Yeah.
And so I can always pull from certain situations. I can always pull from experience, like past experience, and say, hey, I think this is the right way you should go. Or, hey, that's completely wrong. We're not doing that. And so then sometimes I have to be confrontational, and sometimes you can praise. And so every one of the guys that I work with, we have a partnership because they trust me with something that's very precious to them, which is basketball. Basketball is very easy to me. I have a photogenic memory. I've been very blessed for years. I'm very sharp, billions of hours of film. So basketball is something I don't even have to think about. And I don't have to have a plan. I would consider myself the Jay-Z of basketball. Everybody say with Jay, and I'm really amazed with this, that I was at the Jay-Z's museum in Brooklyn about a week ago.
Yeah, I saw.
With Dwyane Wade.
Yeah.
And so what was really, that stood out to us, and shout out to Jay, was he made one of his albums in 40 minutes.
That's insane.
But he did it with no pen.
What?
So
it was all in his mind.
He listened. He has a system. So what I've learned over the years from studying the best people, like I was telling you off camera, I was like, I'm really not a fan to anyone. But what I am is I want to know what make you tick, what make you great. And so you'll realize with people that are 1%ers and that are really good at something, they've created some type of system that allows for them to operate. Now the system can be moved, it can be tweaked, and it can grow, but they have a foundation. And so that's what I've done. I've been a master of systems. Yeah. Yeah, so I've built systems that I feel have core values. Right. And then depending on the person, you tweak it. I can move it, and I can come up with a plan directly, quickly. That's amazing. Wow. So much insightfulness. I'm honestly it's it sounds like you're a big person in listening to your intuition, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're very in tune with everything that's happening. Always. Energetically, I'm very, very always focused on individuals, and so that's my life. My life is built around taking other people to the next level. Yeah. And celebrating. So jealousy doesn't live in me. Envy doesn't live in me. Always been like this? Always. I've never wanted what someone else had. So if someone has a bigger house than me, I can go to their home and be like, man, this is nice. Yeah, and you appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not gonna leave and be like, man, I want that house. Yeah. Yeah, that's not even really important to me. And then I've created these 3 core values for myself, and it's number 1 is time. I feel like time is something that you can't put a price tag on. It's something that you have to be very conscious of giving your time. I'm here with you today. Yeah. I was very structured. I'm like, boom, what time? Because I got exactly at 4. I got that message. I was like, wow. Time is money. And so everything to me, when it comes to time, it shows you how much the person values you. And so when someone is either late, and sometimes you can't stop being late, maybe a car accident. We live in LA. Yeah. It could be anything. The traffic here. Oh my God. But that's no excuse. You're right. So when time is the number 1 value thing that we have, and you can't buy it and you can't get it back. So the way I spend my time is very important.
Gotcha.
So that's one thing. So I let you know the value that I placed on being here, from trying to build a relationship, trying to work with you.
For sure.
The second one is resources. People look at money as like a big resource, but resource is greater than money, right? So like if I have a resource, it could be a product, and I can bring you in, and I can do, so it becomes what resources you have. For sure. And then the third one is access. So a lot of people I know a lot of people with money, like big money, and they don't have access. Yeah. So like having money, yes, because sometimes let's say that you and I was going to a restaurant, right? And we're in the restaurant waiting for one of our friends. Yeah. They could be a billionaire. The restaurant owner can say, hey, we don't want them in here. Yeah. So they don't have access. So what are they going to do? Buy the building? You can't buy the building because they're not selling. So access has nothing to do with your financial status. It has nothing to do with where you come from. It comes down to how you treat people. Exactly. I love that. So those are my three most important things. Time, resources, and access. And they all work together. It's drawing me to ask you about your family, your parents. Like, I feel like there's, were these key things that were kind of instilled growing up? Like, I'm just curious on, because it's just like the insightfulness is insane. I mean, I come from a really good family. I think I was raised with my mother and my father, but it was more community, right? So when I say community, like my grandparents, my great-grandparents. That's amazing. My great-great-grandparents. Get out of here. People live long in my family. That's amazing. So, like, I think my great-great-great-grandmother, her name was, we call her Mama Josie. Yeah. I think I was in a picture. I got a picture. I think I was maybe 5. Okay. So she could have been 98. Oh, wow. Okay. Right? That was a long time. I'm 45 right now. Do you have any memories with Mama Josie? Of course. What's your key memory? I don't want to say it. I'll tell it. It's really good, though. So Mama Josie stayed with my grandmother, which is her daughter. Right. My great-grandmother. Right. And her name was Dear. And my mom would know this story. Aww. So Mama Josie, Dear. And Mama Josie lived in the back room. Okay. And so me and my cousins, we're bad. We're just little kids. You guys were kids, yeah, right? But to her, we're like really bad because she's older. Right. And we would just like run around, laugh, joke, and we passed by her room. And Mom, don't get mad at me. and she passed gas. Okay. We heard her. Oh no. Oh, me and my cousins, we could not stop laughing. Oh, my God. We laughed for hours. Oh, no. And she waited until my mom got off work, and we were listening at the door because my mom walked in, and she was like, Evelyn, you got to do something about these boys. Oh, no. We have to get them because they've been laughing all day. My mom was like, well, what happened? She was like, I just passed a little gas and they and they laughed. So yeah, I never forget that story. Adorable. But she used to sit in a little rocking chair. But this just shows that most people in my family live really, really long. That's amazing. Yeah. Most people don't have that. I think she was born in maybe 1890. Yeah. Yeah. Can you say having all this family around, it builds security, right? It makes you feel sure of yourself. I think family, and then I think having, like, I have solid friends too, right? I have day ones. That's rare. Yeah. I got some day ones. Okay. And then I got day twos. Okay. I'm tighter with my day twos. Really? My day twos, I'm grown. So, like D Wade is my day two. Yeah. So we've been knowing each other a very, very long time, but he's like one of my closest friends, and he's a day two. That's awesome. A day one is someone that I've known into my childhood, like my friend outside. Like I've known him since I was like 7. Yeah. But he's not a day two. Yeah. And so he's not even my closest friend. Wow. We're just friends because we grew up together. But that doesn't mean that you have to be like close friends. It's respect. Yeah, because you continue to grow, and when you're an adult, I think you choose the people that you really are close to. So you have certain levels in life, and I think that's what has really like scoped me. And then being curious, like being curious and being open. So I'm open to, study all religion, right? So that's the historian in me. To studying like people, like, it's so many different, like the way people like are into their religion or into spirituality or like into, instead of saying, that ain't what, that's not what I was raised to do. I'm more like, hey, why? Like, what did you learn? Like, what are you?
Yeah.
So I'm just very curious. And I think that, young people that are out there, they should be very curious in life.
That's
like,
amazing.
Question everything.
Do you find that that's helped you, like, be more of a rounded person? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because going into situations, I have no expectations.
Yeah.
So you can't disappoint me. Right?
By choice?
By choice, because my expectations are only for me. Like, I expect for me to bring this to a room. If it's a bad room, I could change the room.
Right.
Right. So my expectations are me, and it wouldn't be for you. Right?
Wow. I'm learning so much. That's awesome. I'm gonna ask you to take us through, is there a time in your life where you could say, it sounds like you were very sure of this path, right? So was there a time where you ever felt that you were up against any kind of adversity?
Yeah, adversity knocks every day.
Every day, eh?
Every day. It's not the adversity that knocks us. It's really how you handle it. So you learn solutions, right? So, like, I'm a problem solver. So, like, I wouldn't come to you with the problem. I would come to you with a solution, and then we can address the problem. And I've always been like that. So I face adversity throughout my whole life. I've seen it in different forms, like everyone does. Like, at some level, like, what's important to me may not be as important to you.
Right.
But what I think I developed it naturally was how to handle it. Like, instead of like running away or blaming someone or saying my parent didn't do this or this person didn't do that, you kind of own it. And you kind of like, okay, I see what the problem is. Now, how do I fix this? Or what solution best addresses it?
Right.
And so I've become now I'm so super solution. I don't even see
The problem.
at all.
Wow.
Like, I look right by it.
Yeah.
And like, if I'm dealing with someone and someone's telling me the problem in my head, I'm like, okay. I'm already like,
yeah.
I understand
Right.
the car's broken. How many mechanics have we reached out to?
Right.
Like, my brain is on to the next.
Yeah.
And I think I programmed myself to be like that, and it's really helped me navigate.
I was going to ask you,
quickly.
Is this, because, you're very calm, you're very zen. Your energy is like super,
This is how I
zen.
coach.
Get out.
Work with the best players in the world. They know it. This is my voice.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, like raising volume.
If I raise my voice, then everybody knows it's an issue.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
goes back to like, if you never do it, then when you do it, it must be. And so I've always tried to remain like really calm, really like, I've had some like, I've been in, like, I've seen tragedy, right? And just calm. And I was like, man, this must be a gift, because I'm right in it.
Wow.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the situation and just calm enough to
Wow.
protect everyone around, right? And if I go back and look at anything that would happen that could been an accident or something that happened, maybe indirectly, not that directly to me, it could have been someone else, and it just been calm,
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not a bully, and I've never like tried to like poke, but you can't poke me.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does
like,
make
I'm
sense.
very, very calm, but I'm not.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, don't
No, I got you.
got smoke, but I'm good. Like, I'm cool. And that is, I'm going that's the furthest way. But that's a competitive nature, right? Like, I'm a competitor.
It's wild because that's like, because you see fierce, you see competitive, and then you see calm. So it's like, it's dangerous because you kind of think, okay, because you don't know like the level of that intensity, I guess, because
It's
you're
so
just
high.
seeing calm.
Yeah, it's very high. very high. But you reserve that, right? And then that's a whole like another alter ego, because when you're a competitor, you see it in a lot of athletes when they turn it on, like they put on this other character, and then when they're done, they switch gears. So when people see them out for dinner, they're like, "Hey, that's such and such," and he's like, "No, like,
interesting.
I'm Chris Johnson right now. I'm not him. So like, I really don't feel like doing that right now."
Yeah.
But if you catch them when they're in this character, that's normal.
Yeah. I remember Kobe,
Yeah.
his Mamba mentality, right? Like that's similar to what we're discussing.
Yeah.
You had the privilege of
being
coaching.
around Kobe.
So, you know, were you able to identify like when he would switch over?
No, I mean, I don't think I can identify when he could switch, but you could see it, right? Like you could see it. Like Kobe, D-Wade, LeBron, these are like the best of the best. Like they all have this like, but no one on the outside probably knows when that switch hits. You can see it. Oh, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you actually could put a finger on when it's time to go.
Yeah.
You know, because they got it. They got the level.
I'm curious because for the kids watching, you know, and aspiring to be these people, what do you think it is? Is it inner work that they're doing? Like, what kind of, you know, advice do you think we can give to the athletes watching that want to be able to tune into that, like frequency?
I mean, I think the parents that are watching need to let their kids fail. Right? Like we talked about the adversity. You're like, when you allow someone to naturally fail, like, don't interrupt the process. Because like if you interrupt the process, what you do is you don't let them build the natural ability to tap into who they are, what they do, like what's their real strength. Like no matter, as parents, we can't like protect them. You can keep them from like going too far, but like you have to let, at some point, I bet you in each one of those guys' life, they failed and they had to face it.
Yeah, this reminds me of the Steph Curry documentary. I watched it with my son, and I said to him, like, what a story. You know, all these people could maybe not have, you know, counted that this would be the result.
Right.
But it took one coach.
Yep.
And you know, even your story, like, I find there's one person.
That's it.
That they connect to and that really, like, truly believes in them. Right. And it changes this kid's life.
Well, if someone looks at you in a way that makes you feel special, it can change your whole life, right? That's why people's like, you know, you keep small circles, and it's not a, like, gaslighting circle.
Yeah.
It's a real circle.
Yes.
And a lot of times, like, even for our kids, we have to help them find their own circle. Because, you know, it takes a while for them to really, like, they listen to the parents until they get to a certain age, then they cut them off, then they come back, right? So it's just a process. But I think, man, that you got to fail. Like, when I say fail, you got to go through it, and no one can, like, help you. Like, you got to be like, okay, you got to get to a point to where, like, you got to pick the right door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you actually said that, because I think just like, you know, I'm listening to this and I'm thinking maybe the kids of today are doing too much.
No, they're not doing too much. They're probably doing too less. So they're doing too less of like maybe training, too less of like the hard stuff. Like the hard things is what people are doing less of. The things that are caught on film is just people with their cameras and catching moments. Moments really set you up to fail. So imagine someone catching all of your moments and then taking out all the bad moments.
Right.
And they only put out the good moments. And you only start to believe it. But then when people see you in person, they say, oh, he's not that good.
Yeah.
He's not as good as we thought he was.
Right.
Because they hadn't seen him fail.
Right.
And so that's what I admire the most about all professional athletes. Women, men, boxing, tennis, football, basketball, baseball, soccer, you name it. If they're a professional athlete, what I love the most about professional athletes, and this is what makes them so successful after they're done with their sport, swimming, etc., is that they have to fail in front of people they don't know. So let's go back to like the NBA. Most of my guys, they have to fail on national TV.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, everybody's a critic.
So in the arena is maybe 16,000. On television, it could be millions.
Yeah.
So when you
Pressure.
learn, well, it's not pressure, but when you learn how to fail in front of everyone and you can be okay and you focus on the process, you develop a skill set that I want to be in business with. So the people that are athletes all over, if you want to do business and you watch this podcast, please call me because I want to do business with you because I know they won't quit.
Yeah.
Because no matter if they fail, then they have a great moment. People cherish the moment.
Right.
But when they're going through that rough patch, they have to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
So everybody's pulling with you when it's going great. But when things are not going great, and when I say not going great, maybe it's not shooting well, maybe you lost a game or two, but they still have to publicly deal with it. Name another like profession that you have to deal with public failure.
Yeah.
The banker? No. The banker don't have to. The engineer, the people that.
Yeah, I can't.
Financial advisors. Nobody has to fail publicly.
Yeah, you're right.
So do they really understand how to fail publicly in front of people and keep going? So that's what I learned. I watch even with people that are in the tabloids or they like TMZ, like their life is in front page and I know them personally. I'm like, man, I would love to do business with them. Yeah. Yeah, because nothing can break them. Yeah. Nothing can break them. They've already then done it. Yeah. So I have a really deep respect for people that are publicly failing. Whether they may get a divorce, their kids may be in some trouble, and they got to handle it publicly. Yeah.
I never thought about it that way.
90% of the world don't handle things public. Yeah. Like if your kid is on drugs and you're just a normal civilian, only you, your mother, your husband, or whoever, only like 5 people know. And you're really like trying to protect that other people don't know. But if you're a celebrity and you're in LA and your kid does one thing wrong and it's on TMZ, it's in social media, it's here, it's there. And so you have to deal with it. And now you, even with social media, you have to deal with it more publicly. Yeah. So the people that are able to be honest in front of people that really don't matter to them, that's mental toughness.
Yeah. Very well said. Very well said. Which leads me to my next question. So when you're training, and there's a lot of physical aspects to this.
Oh, of course.
Is there a mental aspect that you focus on?
So the physical part is only 10%. Like on a scale of 100, 10% is physical. You know, not everybody's 6'10". Like you said, Steph. Yeah. Steph is probably 6'2", probably 180 pounds. You take a guy like maybe Bron, maybe 260, you know, bigger guy. Everybody doesn't look like him, and everybody doesn't look like Steph. Right. But, you know, that's the physical side. So Steph doesn't have his characteristics, which is the difference between the two. But you have other characteristics and categories that I think are very important, which are part of my core element, is the mental mindset. So mental toughness is a skill set. So you have 10% that is physical, which everybody sees because you can see it. Right. Like you can look and say, oh, he can jump high, or he can run, or he can shoot. You can measure it. But mental toughness, you can't measure.
Yeah, correct. So how do you work on that? That's 90% then, right?
No. Okay. That's broken in. That's about, mental toughness should be about 25%. Okay. Right? And I'm glad you asked. I just wrote an ebook. I have an ebook series that I put out.
Amazing.
Which is good. Okay. It's a 10-part ebook series about how to win in 10 minutes. It's because I look at us being in a social media, like everything is so fast that most of the people that are athletes or young, they don't have more than 10 minutes to learn how to win. And when I said winning to me is what is important now, like staying present in the moment where your feet are, be where your feet are. And so there are certain techniques that we can put into place. And the way I look at the mental is the same way you do the physical. Like if I don't show up and make 500 shots a day, when I get in the game, if I don't make my shots, so you have to do the same amount of reps mentally. And it could be like, I have something called the MVP. Everybody know what an MVP is, right? But for me, MVP is meditation, 2 minutes. Meditating is probably breathing, sitting still, turn your phone off. Just give yourself a moment. So it's not what most people look at. When they look at, oh, you meditate, and it's like this whole deep thing. No, it's just stillness. You just work on your breathing. The V is for visualization. So a lot of times you can visualize. That's why I was like, I can manifest. So like I probably manifested you into my life.
Yeah, we were talking about that for sure.
Right, and so that visualization of being able to see it. So you can close your eyes and then you can see yourself. And you can see yourself, even if you make a mistake, you can see yourself correcting it. So you can visualize it, which is very important. And then the P is positive self-talk. So most people speak negative about themselves. So imagine if you walk up to somebody and say, I'm so ugly. And they're like,
yeah.
Now they're thinking, damn, is she ugly?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And now you've spoken into it. This, or I'm very short. Or I don't run fast. Or I'm not very smart. So you hear more people talk negative about themselves. And
lack confidence.
And they help. Well, it helps other people around them not think positive about them. But so positive self-talk is very important. So that's my MVP. It's meditation, visualization, and positive self-talk. And that's a part in my first book of How to Win in 10 Minutes. And that's what we're talking about how to build. So you want to go, you go get the ebook and you can study it. And I have a podcast that is connected to each ebook. So each ebook, I broke it down and we had deeper conversation with me and one of my partners that he's the mental performance coach for the Sacramento Kings.
Amazing.
And so he's, we're brothers and we met about 3, maybe 4 years ago and we realized we were born same year, different parts of the country.
Yeah.
We was on the same mission in just different ways, right? And so we came together to create a system that help people put the reps in.
Amazing. Where's the ebook available?
It's on my Shopify. You can go to justhoop.com. And I think they're going to release it to other platforms.
Amazing. We'll put it on our captions.
So justhoop.com. So they can go get it. And we're going to release volume 2, I think, in a week or so.
Nice.
Which is mental timeouts.
Interesting.
Yeah. Most people don't know when to take a timeout. And
we live in such a go, go, go culture. So you
have to practice it. So, I'll give you the best example of a mental timeout. We all have phones, okay? If you didn't put your phone on a charger for 2 days, it'll be die, right? And it goes through several stages. It goes from being to green, to yellow, to red. And when it gets to yellow, it's telling you, hey, we're getting close we need to recharge. It's the same with us. You got to recharge. You don't want your battery to get to red, and you don't want it to get to where it's saying it's 5% left, and then at 2% it cuts off.
Right.
It's the same mentally. You have to catch it before you get to that point. And you have to know when to say, time out. Even if you're in a heated discussion, you can say, hey, can I take a moment?
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And you may take 30 seconds, you may take a minute. You could be in an argument and say, I got to take a time out. I need an hour to think about this.
Wow.
And so what it does, it keeps you from, doing things or saying things that, you didn't need to say, that you got to come back here. So people don't know when to take a time out. So my whole ebook is about mental timeouts and how to take a timeout and when to take timeouts and how to measure your battery.
Right.
And it's so many levels to taking a timeout. And I got that from basketball. Like in basketball in the NBA, if a team is beating another team, they score. In the NBA, if a team scores 2 baskets in a row, 99% the opposite coach will call timeout. It's going to be some that don't.
Momentum.
They stop the momentum. They need a time. So people say, well, what are they doing timeout? Well, maybe the team just need to regroup. And so when you look at the mental timeout, that's the same we could do in life. So I wrote a whole ebook over there, and I'll give you all the other categories, but I have 10 that are dropping
That's amazing.
this year, and we've done a complete podcast for each book that's connected to the book.
Right, and then you explore deeper.
Oh, we go way deeper. We quiz you. We give you what we would consider like activities and assessments. So the one thing that I feel like is outdated is the mental assessments. So a lot of mental assessments were wrote long time ago. And when I was getting my master's degree, I was studying that, right?
I was just gonna say, it feels like you're coming
I brought
full
it
circle.
all, yeah, because I said it 20 years ago. That's what I wanted to do. So one of the number one things I want to do is I want to create the largest platform for mental development, like not mental health and prescription of like medicine, right? I want to get it before you get there. Not saying that prescription is not needed in some, circumstances, but if we proactively have a system in place that we can develop that works with people that are under pressure, and that's what I've done. I've developed these people to be able to strive under pressure.
Yeah,
and I think that's so dope, and that's my life purpose. And so I've used basketball to like come up with these strategies over years.
Right.
So like my guys know certain words, of how to get refocused. I got all types of vocabulary that we've created that I can have a conversation and can get your focus to refocus.
just switch.
Yeah, because you got to have a flush it mentality. You got to have a flush it. So when you flush, you flush.
Yeah.
So you have to have a flush it mentality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's dope. And so that's the difference when you look at like 90%. It's all it's mental, it's spiritual, it's emotional, and then it's IQ. So just in case you guys got lost, I have 5 components, and it's physical, which is 10%, and 25% is mental. The other 25% is IQ. Like how smart you are, how you can think on the move. And then the other 2 are 20%, which people don't even look at, which is emotional intelligence. So emotions are things that you deal with in sports at a very high level because emotions change very quick. You can be sad, you can be happy, you can be upset, and it goes.
So many.
So you have to be emotionally intelligent. And then the last one is spiritual.
What about spirituality?
Well, I mean, maybe your culture, whatever culture you come from, that's where you traditionally get your spirituality or the religion. And some people, they convert, they do whatever. So you have to tap into what that culture you came from.
Right.
And so I think that's more important for that way it fits anyone. Because everyone has a different spirituality based on how they were raised or what they come from or the new culture that they accept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm excited. I didn't know about the ebooks. I think these are all tools that, are out there that people should be looking at and using for. I think we're in a good place though, living in this post-COVID world. People are really in tune with working on themselves. And so books such as these get
10
you
minutes.
that. Yeah. Like what's your excuse if you can't give yourself 10 minutes?
That's why I didn't write a book.
There's a problem.
I wrote the ebook because I feel like the ebook it should be so simple
and accessible,
but it should give you practice, like trim out all the fat, get straight to what I got to do. And so I didn't want to write. Most people write self-help books. This is not self-help. This is like get in there, lift.
Yeah.
Like get it together.
Yeah.
Like, all right, when you go to your trainer, you're not going in to he's going to give you all of the extra. You're like, no.
Yeah.
I want to build this muscle. Let's get right to it.
Right.
And that's my mentality when it comes to developing the mental skills. It's like, hey, let's just take out everything because people get confused with a lot of information.
Right.
So we keep it very simple and get straight to it. I mean, when I say simple, I think the ebooks are less than 7 pages.
Wow.
But it's powerful.
It's very like concentrated.
It's very powerful.
I'm very excited to see.
It's very powerful, and you could do it every day.
Amazing.
It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes.
I'm going to incorporate it into my morning routine.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to you. I'll give it to you later.
I have, for me, if I don't do my morning routine, I'm off.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuse. I can't, because then I'm just not who I want to be for that day. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So I have to make
What do you do in the morning?
So I start with meditation, and it depends. I try to do 10 minutes, but sometimes it goes longer because I listen to a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he really tells you that when you feel the need to want to come out of your meditation, that's when you really should meditate. And so sometimes I can get to that point within the 10 and I'm good. But sometimes, depending on my mind and I'm having a hard time locking in, I force myself to sit there. I'm like, no, you need to sit here a little bit more. So I go a little bit longer. So I do meditation. I do flow. So I have like a yoga flow that I do, and I switch it up every so often.
So you do it yourself? See, I go to, like this morning I was at yoga at 6 a.m. I try to go every morning.
Amazing.
90 minutes of like hot, deep yoga. But I go there because I feel like everyone needs a coach. And that's my opportunity to be coached.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For me, that's me in the gym. So I go to the gym because my personal trainer's at the gym, and that forces me to do the weight. I think lifting weights is so important. You need to build muscle, right? But for me, the yoga, the movement aspect is something I'm in tune with, because as soon as I meditate, I'm so in tune with my body, and then right away I could feel that I need to move. So I can kind of walk through that part myself. Yeah. But it's the lifting weights that if she wasn't there, I don't know if I would go.
Yoga really helps me. I think because no cell phone, no Apple Watch, I don't wear anything. I can disconnect for 90 minutes. Yes. And then the temperature really forces you to lock in, to focus. Yeah. And even when you have monkey brain, you know, your brain is like all over the place. When you get in, sometimes I fall asleep meditating.
That's amazing.
Like the yoga instructor didn't wake me up.
Oh, wow.
It's a class full.
Yeah.
And I wake up like 3 minutes later, but I was in such a deep
meditation. That's amazing.
I was like, and it's okay. And I was like, okay.
That's it. Yeah, that, and then I do gratitude. For me, it instantly humbles me, because just knowing my kids are good, my parents are good, my dad has dementia, has given me a whole new look on life, right? Outlook on life. And so just sitting with that really kind of, again,
how old is your dad?
73.
Yeah, my dad had dementia.
Yeah,
he had it.
It rocks your world, especially because you only know, what your world was, and then boom, it changes. And then you see everything change. Yeah. So for me, gratitude is so important. And that was something he taught me. So I really kind of lock into that. And then right from there, I go into affirmation. So I have a whole...
You got a system.
Yep. I do 10 affirmations. My kids do it on the drive to school. We do our 10 affirmations.
With a system. Yeah. Remember I told you, if people can develop a system, they develop a system of success. And that's very, very, very important. Creating a system. Everything should have a system.
You're absolutely right. And I can honestly say that once these things were in place, it got me to my goals quicker.
Yes.
And I find certain things in my affirmation, the right people come into my life.
Right.
It's one of the lines I say. Right. Your body knows what's good for you. So sometimes if I'm feeling really wrecked, I'll just say I need to take a day. And I listen to it.
That's a mental timeout.
You're right. I'm just starting to piece it together. But these are the things. So if I don't do it, I just realize that I'm not good I'm not 100% of who I can be. Right. And then I can't be the best version of myself to my kids, to my husband, to my mom and dad. And those things are important to me. Right. And so, then I lead a team. So it's like, it's just a whole domino effect.
Yeah, I think it's you versus you, which is very important. It's always you versus you. And then this is a very important piece of even your why. I put myself first. And the reason why me getting up to go to yoga for 90 minutes, intense, 115 degrees, 26 and 2. You know, it's intense. And it's taking care of me. So getting up at 4:45 for years, I get up to take care. Then I give to everyone. So for 90 minutes, I take care of me.
For yourself, right? Yeah.
And then I told you, my life is built to help other people live their best life.
Yeah, that's amazing.
To celebrate their life and then to be there. Like I'm there. If I showed you my phone, you would be like...
I was going to ask you how you do it because I know all the things you do. So you're a serial entrepreneur.
Yes.
5 businesses, I think?
Yeah, probably more.
Probably more now from the last time we spoke.
Yeah, I'm on type. All types of
and you're so,
like
you know what it is? You're so accessible. You're so approachable. Have the #1 training program.
Yes.
And around some of the greatest ever. You know, and...
I even put out a motivational album. I got the #1 motivational album in the country right now.
No way.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I have 2 of them. What? It's all affirmations.
On Spotify?
It's on Spotify. It's everywhere.
We'll have to add. Your captions list is going to be...
If you go look at it, it's on there right now just in case you guys...
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got to check it out.
It's called The Blueprint. And so what we give you is a blueprint of how to create affirmations and to create success in your life. And so when I learned that music of like beats, because I'm a 90s baby, so I grew up hip hop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so hip hop, maybe I haven't heard a song in 20 years. If I hear a beat, I know every word. How is that?
How is that?
Right.
Wow.
Because our brain, is something about our brain and the connection to music and in the soul. So you may not have heard a particular song, but as soon as it comes on and you hear the beat, you'll know every word. And so for me, I'm trying to figure out ways to get the affirmations into the youth and to people that need it, right?
So
because
important.
the things that you put in your ear is what is played throughout your brain over and over and over and over and over and over. And so I had some of the best producers.
Wow.
They produced some of the biggest artists out there. And they actually produced my album. And I'm not a rapper. I'm not an artist. I feel like I have a good a voice of like voiceover voice. So with me, my voice in the studio is really good. And I'm not a rap. I don't even know how to rap, right?
Wow.
And so I just put together things that stood off to me when it comes to affirmations. And I went and found a guy that is a real artist, and he did most of the rapping, but I told him we wanted an album that can motivate people. So you could put the album on in the morning, every morning.
Blueprint, huh?
With your kids, called Blueprint. And our first one is frequency shift. So we try to shift everybody's frequency.
Is it within the music? Are you guys also playing around with the frequency?
You should hear it. Yeah, you got to hear it.
I'm so excited to listen to it.
I think I have over 1 million downloads and we never promoted it.
I'm like, I didn't know. This is amazing.
We never promoted it. We didn't put it out.
I gotta put my kids on that. I'm huge. Like I'm trying to teach because I feel like your kids learn by example.
Yeah.
So for me, like in the car ride, we're doing our affirmation. One leads the affirmation. The other leads the prayer right after. Doesn't matter if we're in the parking lot already. We finish before they get out of the car. Yeah. So I think, if we can add more stuff like this is what really I feel like parents should be doing with their kids. Like you're teaching them.
Yeah, my players will take pictures. You can see them in their cars. They'll take picture of they're playing different songs in the album that they love.
Amazing.
And most of the album, most of it's in my ebooks. Like all of the words that we talk about.
So you've actually incorporated it.
Of course, because I believe it. I've been practicing it. Like without you practice stuff without making someone aware of it. Like maybe a touch. Like if I touch your hand, someone come in and you work with them for years and you could see, hey, something's off. What? Yeah. What's up? Nothing. And you kind of walk away and you come back. Hey, listen, what's going on? I already could tell. Da 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 da. It's like, man, how you know this? Listen. And then they tell me, and I'm like, oh, don't worry about that. It'll be okay. What's the solution? And they're like, oh. And then we may get into the workout. By the end of the workout, our conversation shifted. Like, what do you think I should do?
Yeah.
And it may be heavy for them, but it may be light for me.
You can hold space.
But the
Wow.
yeah. And so the relationship that you build is so honest that they're like, you know what? Okay, I got it. And then they go.
That's a gift.
Yeah, they go. And then they come back and they'll say, hey, if someone else has an issue. So it could be different people that maybe have different questions. It may be an issue. It may be something good. It may be a decision. They all reach out.
That's such a gift.
Yeah.
You know, I'm realizing as we're speaking, like, there's a no judgment zone.
Right.
And it automatically makes you feel safe.
Absolutely.
So it's, all of that is gone. And so I can now tell you what's on my mind.
Yes.
And you're just looking at it from, all right, so here's the solution.
Let's look at this. Like, all right, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Or I'll tell you, like, yo, that's not it. Like, you don't treat people like that. You don't do this. Like, this is not right. And so that goes with it too. And if I have to address you, I will. And so it's a balance of like, yo, what you doing? What? Don't do that no more.
Yeah.
This is how you do it. Okay, I apologize. I'm so sorry. Yeah, right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could deal with stuff like right away, like head on. I think that's important.
That's dope.
So
Wow.
that's the secret to my company, my training company. Most people think it's drills or like bouncing the ball or shooting.
There's more to it.
Ain't even close. It's the pillars, what I just told you. It's spiritual, emotional, IQ, and your ability to build the mental toughness out of it, which I challenge them in so many ways. And I put them in so, without telling them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know who can handle it or not.
Yeah.
Right away.
So you have a plan. You meet them, then you have a plan.
I can look at you and have my plan is like, and each guy, I can have 4 or 5 people in front of me with 5 different plans. Jeez. And I don't have to write it down. I don't have to do it.
You just know.
I got it to the T. And so my assistants and people that work with me are like, how did you know that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I just know. And they're like, ah. I was like, yeah, because I'll tell them after.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, how did you figure that out? I was like, no, I'm just paying attention. Like, you have to dig a little deeper, because when they're on their journey to learning how to become like this master teacher of this basketball, they're missing a lot of the other pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to tell them, hey, this is more important than this. Like, I'm going to teach you this.
Yeah.
This is more important. And they're like, oh.
Do you ever have, I don't want to say the battle of the ego, but like, do you ever have where you meet someone and you feel like, okay, let me put this like into perspective for this person, because they're just coming at it with a whole different attitude than what you would like?
I mean, you see young people have a lot of ego. Even the greatest are very humble. Like, they meek, they love people, they greet people, they walk in, they address everyone in the room right away. So they make everybody feel at ease right away. These are the greatest people I've been around. Like, the younger people create the ego. It's the younger people. And so what you have to do is you figure out them, and then you can like check them and say, hey, you need the ego here. You don't need the ego here. And so when you put your jersey on, you put your Superman cape on, you need an ego. You gotta have some type of edge. You gotta have something to say, boom.
Yeah.
When you take it off, that goes off. And so you gotta teach that part.
That's, yeah.
Because they need the ego. Because it's just a character. It's acting. But when you're dealing with people, you can't let that come over and say, well, I make $56 million a year and you're my chef and you do what I tell you to. No. That don't work. Yeah, that don't work. So you got to be like, hey, that don't work. So ego is very important.
Yeah. I didn't realize.
Situational ego.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. The situational ego. If you don't have ego, you don't have certain things like self-confidence. You know, if you look in like the dictionary, I know y'all think I'm crazy, but if you look in the dictionary of humble, you know, like, do you know the definition of it?
No.
So like the definition of being humble is like being lower than, like.
Is that what the definition of the
and you would never teach your kids that. You tell them, hey, be humble.
Yeah.
But if you go read the definition, you're going to be like, and if you go look at the definition of a narcissist, it's speak highly of yourself.
Interesting.
That's why I mean question everything.
The curiosity part.
The curiosity, because wait a minute, I'm a very humble person, but I'm not less than. Like,
Yeah.
because I would say I'm the best in the world or something doesn't mean I'm a narcissist either. Like,
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
But in the definition, when it's defined, if you really follow the definition side of it, you'll be telling your kids, hey, you're below them.
Right. It's interesting.
Be humble.
Yeah.
But you would naturally tell them, hey.
Yeah.
Like if they was like, oh, Mom, I'm better than him
Yeah.
in a sport. And you'd be like, hey, don't do that. And so it's a counterproductive way of teaching when really we all are humble and in certain situations that you do need your ego. Like especially if it's situational ego, especially if you're competitive.
Yeah.
So all you parents out there, there's situational ego.
Yeah.
And the ego shouldn't be on all the time. Like if I'm going into my mother's house, I wouldn't have an ego.
Yeah.
Like, but if I'm competing and you and I say, hey, we'll go outside and play basketball right now, I got an ego.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would beat everybody. I'm going to be situational with it. And when we're done, hey, are you okay? It was good. It was fun. I'll kick your ass next time. So situational ego is one of my vocabulary.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I really hope people are listening to this because I'm as a parent that I'm around a lot of sports. Yeah. My kids are both in different sports, and so I'm learning a lot from this because I'm learning about that car ride home.
Yeah,
talk.
There's
like
my son is really good right now. He's here in LA. He's one of the top guards in the country. Like we didn't even talk about the sports. I'm on the mental side of it. Like, I'm more curious about, like, what you're thinking, what you learn.
Really?
What's your learning curve? Like, did you make any mistakes? Did you allow yourself to make mistakes? Because a lot of times we put ourselves in these tiny boxes, and what the box does, it eliminates if you go to the next level.
Yeah.
So people that go through the next level eliminated the box. And so the total separation between the two is only 1%.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's when you look at it like, so water's like really hot at 211, but at 212 degrees, it's boiling.
Interesting. It's just the 1%. Okay.
It's 1%. It's 1% difference when people look at like how they so successful. If you really go look at it, they're 1%. Just one difference of the way they see themselves, the box that they open up, and they were like, you know what, I'm gonna be curious. I'm not worried. I'm just keep going.
So when your kids were growing up, this was always the approach. It was
I've always wanted to be curious, question everything. I didn't try to push a lot of values or things like be kind. I'm teaching a situational ego. Because my son is like very, like, he's a superstar, but he's like very calm. Everybody loves him, and I'm like, you got to turn up. Yeah, because I can see it. Like, hey, that shouldn't happen.
Interesting.
Like, you got to stand up for yourself.
When did you decide to start telling him that?
I've been telling him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting better, and now his communication and text with me, like, I see it, Dad. Like, he's 16 now, so it's like, oh, I got it. I'm like, you got to go to that level. Like that situation was not okay. Like you have to speak up. I can't fight that battle for you.
Right.
If you don't fight it, it's going to be there. So I just I don't fight the battle. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a very good tip.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. A lot of parents. I deal with a lot of parents. We have a lot of parents, and so that's what we try to educate the parents. Like, hey, no matter what you say or do, it really comes down to that person.
Yeah, exactly.
It comes down to that person, and what they want is what they're gonna get.
Exactly, and what they put into it, right?
Yeah, and you can put into it and still not go to the next level because you can limit yourself.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about it like that.
You can put in all the work. You could be perfect, but when you're in the situation, if you don't put yourself first, the situational egos, like people won't come to watch you. Yeah. You only go watch people that are like, oh.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Some things to think about, right? Chris, take me through, okay, so 5 businesses.
Yeah.
Your development program, all of the, dad, husband.
Yeah.
Where do you find time? Like, what, like, and how do you, like, plan out your day? Do you have a structure?
Yeah, I'm systems. So everything is a system. I map out everything. Like if I in my phone right now, I can show you how I map out the year. So every year, December the 1st, I treat December the 1st like January 1st.
Okay.
So I start cleaning out my life. So if I'm in business with you, I reevaluate the business every year. So every year I reevaluate. Every relationship, I reevaluate it every year. And I start reevaluating it from December the 1st through like the 25th. And what I'm taking over to the new year is what I create the plan for. What wasn't successful or I don't want to take over, I don't want to continue, I'll reach out and say, hey, I don't want to continue this relationship. If it's a multi-year deal, then I know I got to reevaluate that. But I try to make that, and then going into the new year, January is my first of the month. So a lot of people I've learned when the Christmas, the holidays roll around, everybody shut it down. I turn it up.
That's interesting.
I go to the next
night. I was just going to say, when you said December 1st to 20th, I'm like, oh my God, I'm already in like holiday mode.
Yeah.
Like planning dinner in my head.
I turn it up.
Interesting.
Yeah, like right now we're in the fourth quarter. It just started on Saturday, October 1st. So in my brain, I'm like, all right, fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, I'm trying to win. I'm not trying to slow down.
Right.
So most people slow down so much that when January hit, they're trying to turn it up, but then they burn out in February, and then they're done for the year.
You're right.
And so I look at it as a game. That's where sports come in. Every quarter is important. So I start preparing the month before the quarter, but while I'm preparing, I'm crushing everything. In the month of December, I'm trying to crush it. If I could run it up, I'm running it up because I realize that nobody's working that hard during the holidays, and nobody gets up at 4 in the morning. So like if you get up tomorrow morning, get up at 4:45 and just go for a drive. It won't be a car. So that lets me know I have no competition because I can get up earlier than anyone around the world, and I'm gonna work when nobody wants to work. And so you just prioritize it, and that's how I created a system of maps and partnerships. Like hopefully we have a partnership, then I'll add you to it, and I'll start the planning now. Like all right, boom, 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 and that's how I'm able to manage family. I have a system for my family, and then I realize with the family I don't have no control. Only thing I can do is be an influence, and my kids can see the work ethic that I have. Right. So, I inspire work ethic, day-to-day things. Yeah,
best way to teach them.
I don't check grades.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't do homework.
Yeah, me too. I think that's
my kids are smart.
Their responsibility.
They're Ivy League kids. Yeah, I did all my work. So those responsibilities that a lot of parents take on, I don't take that on. And I'm not trying to live in their shoes. I'm living my own life. Yeah. And just a part of it. But it's the same with everything. So I just develop a system, and I have to tweak it. Like during the year, I think I added like 3 or 4 other companies that I'm on the advisory board and different things like that. And I'm already evaluating one company I started with in January. I'm already evaluating. I was talking to my guy. I was like, hey, we need to figure this out. Because if not...
No alignment? Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. I actually, it leads me to my next question of it sounds like you're always very mindful of everything that's working around you. And you said positivity, right? It was part of the MVP conversation. So
positive self-talk.
So I'm going to ask you, how do you deal with negative people? Because you're doing all this work.
Oh, easy.
You just don't?
No, you have some people that you just have to, right? It's not that I deal with them. That's who they are. So, with people that have a negative thought process or they don't think exactly the way I think, that's who they are. And so I don't try to change them.
Do you surround yourself with people like that?
I surround myself with winners. Like, my circle's tight. Our circle's super tight. We're pushing each other to the max. Everybody's successful. Everybody's 1%.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's, we have a lot of access and resources. But there are people, I lift up people that are not where I'm at. And come on, this is how you do it. And not everyone deserves the energy that I can give them.
Right.
So I realize that. And so if I got to make a decision between two people, I'm going to pick the one that right here that's like, y'all want to learn everything. And I'm willing to do everything. And so you kind of test that, like when I have interns, they all reach out to me, I want to be a part of it. They see the glamour. And then me and my other assistants will say, watch, let's see how long this lasts. And so you watch, and then the ones that make it, okay, let me build your career. Like, tell me what you want to do. Like, this is going to help you go here, then we're going to go here. And then you just teach them that you got to be willing to start at the bottom of everything.
Right. Wow.
In everything. So that's what makes me, like, I fell into entrepreneurship because I love building. And you love success. You love having more resources to help other people. And then, so that's so fun to me. That's fun to be like, all right, we're creating something new.
Yeah, it's an amazing process, right?
Yeah.
To, like, go from thought to, like, an actual, like, tangible product or service, whatever that is, right? So, no, for sure. So what's in the future? Like, where do you see, like, your vision for yourself?
For me personally, I want to create the #1 platform amongst the 1%ers, athletes, people that are, like, chasing for the mental skill development part. So I don't call it mental health. Mental health is real broad. I want to talk about giving the activities, and then I want to have assessments to assess people's thought process. And I want to have current assessments. And so I was looking at either building, like, this universal university curriculum for mental skill development that colleges can adapt. So more of mine would be around the line of counseling, developing all people, not just athletes, women, business people, CEOs, speaking.
Amazing, yeah.
That's where I want.
That's the bigger picture.
That's the bigger picture. Sports is so easy for me. That is just a vehicle, because everybody wants that vehicle. But what I really do is this.
Yeah.
And then I want to keep creating products. So I want to be in the product industry. Product is always talent. So if you got a really good product, it doesn't matter how talented you are, it's going to outsell it.
For sure.
And product don't talk back.
It's true. And it's a legacy, right? It's taking everything that you are and then putting it out there.
Yeah. So that's my future. My future is developing people, their mindset, and trying to build the best curriculum and assessments around the world, speaking, doing seminars or retreats to where people come with me. Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 50.
We can definitely talk. We are speaking the same language.
And do the meditation and bring in, like, different specialists, but build a curriculum, because the curriculums that I build are systems. So teach people how to build a system. And a system for mental health, a system for their finances, a system like
huge.
You don't have to be an expert of this, but you can be an expert of system building. Yeah. And because once you build a system, like, you have a system. When you wake up in the morning, you're gonna do your meditation, then you're gonna do your yoga, then you're gonna get in the car, and you got your affirmation from this baby, you got the prayer from this baby. That's a system. And so you could tweak your system, and then you could teach someone else the system. And so systems is what people look and say, man, what worked for you? What was that Mamba mentality? He just created a system.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
so
exactly
I'm trying to be a master system builder.
That's pretty. I think you're there. I think, clearly your systems are efficient and working and building out some of the best. So you're there. I think it's just a matter of what you were saying, sharing it, and you're doing it with your ebook. So it's going to be awesome to
That's
kind of
the first.
see.
The ebook is the first. It's outside of the album that we put out. Yeah, that we
Mm-hmm.
put out, and then so we're gonna slowly build it, and I'm trying to create a team for it, and just slowly, and then as it goes, it's gonna just take off because I built one company to the top. I know how to build. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It brings me to, this podcast is called "This Is My Why."
Yeah, I like that.
Hearing you speak, there's been so many mentions of it, but like what is the core? This is my why. And I think you've said it.
My why is helping other people.
Yeah.
It's building other people.
Yeah.
So not just helping in the fact of giving something, but giving them a tool, giving them what they need, not what I would think they need. So just being a part of everyone's journeys that it's meant to be in my life, and helping them become the best that they can become, and that's where I get most of all of my joy from.
Yeah. It's so fulfilling.
Yeah, it's easy to, and knowing that, and knowing what my purpose is, that makes it so simple.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Thank you. So I'm going to ask you some really light, rapid fire type questions just to kind of lighten it up. I'm curious too. So what's your favorite food?
Seafood.
Any particular one?
All seafood.
All seafood.
Yeah.
Cooked a specific way?
I'm from the South, so we do you can do blackened. I don't know if you've done it blackened. So you can have it blackened. You can have crawfish blackened, or not just all necessarily fried, but blackened. I love blackened chicken. All of my fish, shrimp, blackened. I love anything that's seafood, and you can do it in so many ways.
I'm excited to try. My makeup artist today mentioned to me Roscoe's chicken and waffles.
Yeah, that's not. I'm like, I'm from Texas, so Roscoe's is
not South. Considered South enough?
No, it's not South. It's not
I'm
South.
Canadian, you know that, right? So I'm trying to assess.
Hey,
I'm a foodie.
No knock on Roscoe's, but if you're from Texas,
So where's the place you go in Texas? Because I'm gonna eventually be going out to do some store stuff.
We have a place in Texas called, shout out to the Turkey Leg Hut.
Okay.
That's huge.
I'm
in
gonna
Texas.
need to
They
take
got
my
the best
husband there.
turkey
He's
legs in the
huge-
world.
Really?
They stuff the turkey legs with maybe brisket. They may stuff it with seafood, with etouffee, or it could be gumbo stuff. The line is wrapped. The line is 2 miles, 3 miles down the road.
Oh, no way.
They're the hottest.
Is that the place?
That's one of the places, in Houston.
You're gonna have to give me a list.
And so, I'll give you a list. People eat good in Texas. So no knock on Roscoe's.
No, I got you.
We have the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
Shout out to the Breakfast Club in Houston. That's if you go there and you do the comparison, it's a little different. And just Southern food is real comfort food. So you can
stick to your ribs type.
It's going to gain some weight.
And then you need a nap.
You're going to need a nap. Yeah. And so I don't eat no more for the nap.
Yeah, I know, right? We got goals. I can't do that right now.
No more for the nap. No.
No, that's cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
My next favorite question is, what's your favorite country to visit?
Oh, so it's totally shifted. It's Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in Egypt, in Cairo, and just going through Egypt. I went to Ghouta, which has a private island called Tawili. You have to go through the Red Sea to get there, and I felt very spiritually connected there. Being in the Red Ocean, being in the Red Sea, and it's clear. The water is so beautiful, and it's you look at the resources, but I've never seen that on television before.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says, go vacation in Africa.
Yeah.
And the food and the Egyptian food, and it's plenty of other places that I'm going to go in throughout Africa, but Africa would be my new journey place. I've been all over the world, but in Africa, it was just people of different colors, but all considered African.
Yeah.
Light skin,
That's
white,
beautiful.
Dark skin, middle skin, your color skin. It doesn't matter, just one. And maybe the difference is the dialect or the language. I spent a lot of time there, and when I was there, I went to mosque. I had never been to mosque before. And, spent time with the Muslim community. And I'm Christian. And
that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, and just diving into the community, the culture, in the neighborhood. I was in the roughest neighborhoods, and and they just was like, it was so beautiful, and so I want to explore more of Africa, and I think it's probably the best place I've ever been, and I've been everywhere. I've been all over this world.
I can feel it actually.
Yeah, I've been everywhere. About it. Yeah, because it just was something
soul touching.
Yeah, it was something about it, and it just piqued my interest. Where I didn't want to go to sleep. I wanted to see everything. You want to see the culture. You want to see the different linens, the coverings. We went to the pyramids. I had this custom built.
That caught my eye actually. I was like, what? I'm a jewelry girl. I'm like, I love that.
So this is custom built. 24 karat gold.
That's the pyramids on there, right?
Those are the pyramids. It tells a story.
How did it feel being there? Like the energy. Yeah, I've heard. It's on my to-do list, bucket list.
It was amazing. I didn't want to leave. And then just coming through the Red Sea and knowing like the different stories that I've heard about the Red Sea and diving in the Red Sea, dolphins, every morning going out and touching the Red Sea and watching the sunrise, the sun, watching the sunset, and just looking. And in the Red Sea, it touches the Mediterranean Ocean, I think the Indian Ocean, so it touches all three. Right, and it was amazing.
I guess it just makes you realize it's a lot bigger than us.
It's way bigger than us.
Yeah.
And so right now, that's the place I really want to explore, and I had the best time there, and I've really had some good times in other places. And I thought other places I was like, and then I go to Africa and I'm like, oh.
It rocked you.
Yeah,
I could feel that.
Nobody talks about it.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Wow. That's powerful. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Favorite hobbies? Hobbies.
Studying people.
Okay.
People.
Do you like people watching? I'm just curious.
I'm so curious about people and what they're thinking. But my number one, I don't even know if this is a hobby, but I love being close to the ocean.
Okay.
Like I don't know if that is
just like swimming in the ocean or like just watching,
sitting
in front of it
and doing nothing.
Interesting.
Just listening to the waves beat up against the ocean or the rocks, cool. And just I don't know if that's a hobby though.
That's okay.
We
can make it one.
So I guess,
has that always been a thing like that? Like so, you find when you're downtime, that's what you do. You're by the water.
Like when I'm going to sleep at night, I have the ocean playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a hobby though.
That's okay. We'll take it.
Because basketball's not a hobby to me. I don't think I have a hobby.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think
I don't have enough time to have a hobby.
I was gonna say that's probably it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that would feel good. No,
I
like
I got time, I'm gonna go to I want to be in the ocean.
Yeah.
I want to be near it.
Yeah. Well, you're in the right spot. Yeah. Up in Canada, we got. That's another story. Yeah, you know that. Last question. If you can be anywhere in the world right this moment, where would it be?
Right where I am.
I expected something of that sort.
Yeah.
So, nowhere else. Right here, right now.
I need to explore Africa more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a different answer after. But right now, right here.
Yeah.
Right where my feet are.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We call it Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Like WYFA. Be where your feet are.
Okay. It's a system.
I have a song.
Yeah?
Called Wi-Fi.
Is it on one of the...
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Be where your feet are.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Chris, this has been such an amazing interview. Thank you so much. I've learned so much. I'm sure everybody is looking up all these gems you've dropped. So I'm going to make sure we add it into the captions. But thank you so, so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure.